Hello, thank you so much for joining. I am Jen Rosen, and I am super pumped to talk to you today about a health opportunity. And I'm going to share my screen in just a little bit here and share some slides with you. But first, I just want to talk to you about why you're here. So if you're here, someone has invited you and cares very deeply for you and wants to see you well in your bodies. And if you are here with some kind of ailment in your body, whether it be, and you don't need to go into specifics, but whether it be headaches or chronic fatigue or pain in your joints, or you're just wanting to feel better in your body, or maybe you have a distended belly and you can't get rid of it, whatever it might be, I want you to put a 1 in the chat if you are here seeking for a solution. And please feel free to put your questions as I start in the chat, and then I'm going to get to those at the end of my presentation. I'm going to do my best to do this in 15 minutes, and then I want to open it up to Q&A at the end. Katie, will you give me, oh, great, you gave me access to share my screen. But like I said, I'm Jen Rosen. I am a regenerative health practitioner and coach, and I feel so deeply passionate about regenerative health and also regenerative agriculture. So I just want to briefly touch on that, as that is kind of the umbrella of what we're going to be speaking about today. But regenerative health just means we want to get to the root cause. So when you go to a practitioner of any kind, there's kind of 2 things that you're going to be given, and maybe 1, depending on your history. For me, I'm going to kind of talk to you about my history in the health world, but I was deeply suffering, and I was in and out of all kinds of different doctors' offices dealing with chronic nerve pain. I was dealing with IBS symptoms throughout my 20s, PCOS, and they couldn't figure out why I couldn't get pregnant. They had dealt with that. And we were trying for about 5 years for unexplained infertility. And then when I did finally get pregnant, I was dealing with gestational diabetes during my pregnancy, chronic fatigue, and chronic nausea throughout my pregnancy. And then I was also diagnosed, on top of all of that, I was diagnosed with a rare autoimmune disorder. And so I was searching for at least 6 years for a solution. I knew there was an answer. Like, I just knew inside of me that the practitioners that were giving me treatments that just weren't working, they weren't long lasting. They might have treated me for maybe a couple of weeks and got me out of pain, but then it would always come back. And yeah, it looks like many of you are here seeking for a solution, which makes sense. Most of us are constantly searching for the answer. So I'm excited to share this with you because this truly is foundational health information. So when you go to any kind of practitioner, you're going to either get a treatment, right, for the pain, for the ailment. They might not even know why you are going through it. And they don't know maybe why, and how to treat it. So you might get a treatment plan, you might not. And then the other side of that is getting to the root cause of, for instance, if you have chronic headaches, well, we don't want to treat the headaches. We want to find out why you're getting the headaches. If you have high blood pressure, you're not going to just take medication for the rest of your life. I mean, you could, but most people want to get to the root cause of why you have high blood pressure and treat the kidneys and adrenal function. So we're going to get to the root cause, and there's a lot of different solutions that I'm going to be speaking to you today about. And that is really just getting to the root cause. We have to get into like cellular regeneration and detoxification. So I'm going to discuss with you mainly one of the things that is the biggest seller, which is our cleanse. And that is what I started on. All and most Americans need to cleanse their bodies at least 3 times a year. And actually, we're the only country that doesn't do a parasite cleanse on an annual basis. Parasites are just part of our bodies. You can pick them up from a doorknob or being around people or digging in the dirt. It's just part of how we are. And I'm just super pumped to explain how this works, but you are here for a health opportunity, and I'm going to share. Oh, Katie, can you give me access to share my screen, hun? You'll go to the security spot and then allow me to share my screen. So while she's doing that, I'm going to just kind of discuss with you Purium. So Purium means pure and premium. And the reason why I've partnered with Purium is because they are the easiest way to get alkalinity into your body. So as a species type, we are a pH center. Our bodies thrive with alkalinity. And so a lot of the ailments that we're dealing with today are a result because of the high toxic load, too many parasites in our body, and because we're eating way too much acid. And there we go. I'm going to share my screen here for you so you can kind of follow along as well. So here's my screen. This is our health opportunity. So I want to talk to you about Purium's farm. So what is Purium? It's pure and premium food, but it is a farm to family manufacturer. And the reason why many of us here and myself have partnered with them is because it is the easiest way to flood the body with alkalinity. When you think of why farming is so important and cellular regeneration is because when we look at where our food source is coming from, we have to look at the health of the soil. So when I was deeply sick, I was turned on to regenerative health and Purium. And when I started educating myself and learning about glyphosate, I could not unhear that word. I was like, what is glyphosate and what have I been doing to my body? I had no idea that the foods I was eating was a direct result to all of the issues in my tissues. And glyphosate, if you don't know what that is it is a compound. It is a chemical pesticide. It's the main ingredient in what you might know as Roundup. And or Monsanto, which is now Bayer. This is sprayed on a huge amount in our country, but 99% of our farms are actually deemed non-nutrient dense or lack of nutrients in the soil due to glyphosate. So what glyphosate does is it actually kills all living organisms under the soil. And we spray 5.6 billion pounds of this a year on our agricultural system worldwide. So there's so much of this water soluble solution that it actually is in our rain and it's in our water, and you can't wash it away. You can't get rid of it. But we do have a solution to get it out of our bodies that I'm going to be talking to you about here in just a moment. But the reason why we care so much about soil health is because if you think of where we need to get our fuel and our vitamins and our minerals and our amino acids, it all has to come from plant life and from the soil health. And so why is regenerative farming so important? Well, the life of the soil is the life of our bodies. So microorganisms means micronutrients in our system and in our bodies. So our bodies are made up of 75 trillion cells in 2 fluid systems, and our cells are crying out for nutrients on a constant basis. Our blood feeds our glands and our organs. It has a pump. It has the beautiful heart that pumps and cleans itself. And the lymph is the rest of the 80% of our body, and it's constantly stagnant. We don't really move it a lot, and it needs a lot of movement, and it needs a lot of plant life and alkalinity to be able to truly get rid of all of the acids and function properly. So Purium adheres to a farm to family philosophy, and we really truly provide the highest quality plant-based superfood nutrition for families now for over 28 years. And that is insane. They have never seen chemical pesticides on this farm. And they choose farms that are 250 miles away from other conventional farms. And that's super important because glyphosate is now sprayed from planes and drones, as well as just being sprayed by humans and other machinery. And so that's important too, because the glyphosate can actually get into our soil through organic plants and foods too, with the way that the rain has runoff. So if you have a conventional farm next to an organic farm, one is 100% filled with glyphosate and the other is about 10%. And so what does glyphosate do to our bodies? It eats tiny holes into our gut lining, breaking the tight junctions. And this causes a leaky gut syndrome, which many of us understand and maybe are going through. And that is going to just like permeate out what we're eating into our lymphatic system, causing backup, too much acid. And then it has a ton of stress on our organs as well. And this is going to cause a lot of other issues to happen in the body. So we truly believe that, we want to work with organic plants, live plants, activated and sprouted ingredients. So all of our superfoods are grown in this regenerative soil. We crop rotate. That's super important to give the soil a breath and a beat so that it can come back to life. And we add back in minerals and green manure, as well as water with natural spring water and not the glyphosate rain. And we also pick when vine ripened, and that is also very important. Food changes. It is a chemistry. So as it ripens, it gets to be the most potent, nutrient dense when it is ripe. And so we just really believe that real food means real results. So for me, when I first started on our cleanse, I was in deep pain. I was constantly in shooting nerve pain and looking for a solution for my autoimmune disorder. And within 6 days, I had 0 shooting nerve pain. And inflammation had like totally left my body. I had like released 6 pounds in 6 days, which is not even fat, right? That is truly inflammation leaving my system. And it gave my kidneys a break, my organs a break, and I was able to get out of that chronic pain right away. And after 30 days of these superfoods, I released 18 pounds of fat and inflammation. And I was lighter. My stomach was like really distended and large prior to. And then you can see in my after pictures that my stomach was flat. So if you're curious about my before and after pictures, whoever invited you can share those with you. But that's just the beginning, right? It's been 1.5 years for me. And it's like we're a layer of like onion, and you just keep peeling back these amazing layers into what I would call optimal health. So Purium has an in-house microbiologist. So we have this purity and potency promise. And they run every single ingredient, and by ingredient, I mean plant life, through 5 tiers of quarantine before an infrared molecular scan to match for our standard of purity. And every company has a purity promise, but what does ours mean? And you can read it here on the screen, but there's no trace heavy metals, absolutely no GMOs, no pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, biocides, because they have different names now and they're different compounds. No binders, no fillers, no added colors, super important, preservatives or additives. So as you can see, we're beyond organic standards, because organic doesn't mean nutrient dense. The soil health can be lacking. And so we are walking around feeling quite depleted in our tissues. So I want to talk to you about some of the main 4 products that we recommend as a regenerative health community, and just for foundations of health. So the Super Aminos 23 is an absolutely incredible product. This is made up of non-soy legumes, all organic, but it is our 9 essential amino acids that we are not getting from our plant life. So our body makes amino acids, but we are dependent on these 9 to come from our plant life. And because glyphosate has been sprayed so much on our plants, what it does is it breaks the shikimate pathway to the plant. And so the plant can no longer make what we need, which is our simple amino acids, to be able to properly fold protein in our system. And so this is what we would call the plant protein. And why is this so important? This is pre-digested. So when you take it, it is going to be absorbed into your stomach lining without having to tax any organs or go through a digestive process. So when you take it, you're going to feel full, and it's going to go right into your stomach lining. So I usually say take this before a workout or on an empty stomach in the morning and in the afternoon, and you'll be amazed. I ran out a couple of weeks ago and I could tell a massive difference. I was tired. My back started to hurt, my lower back. And I was like, what is going on? And it was this, I ran out of my aminos as soon as I got them back into my life. My back started completely went back to normal. And it really does help with connective tissue, bone density, burning fat naturally, and building healthy muscle mass. And it really is true. Our plant life and just food on the market is missing the fundamentals that we truly need. So the Power Shake is going to be your micro and phytonutrients, again, that we are lacking in the food that you may be going and getting at the grocery store or eating out. There is pretty much a void of nutrients. And so this is like those phyto and micronutrients that our body is desperately looking for. So if you have, I'd love to see in the chat, if you have ever ate a huge meal and you are just like, oh my gosh, I'm so full. My stomach hurts. I'm so full. And then like 15 minutes later, you're at the fridge and you're looking for more, even though you're super full. So what is that? That is your cells. Your cells are like, what you just fed me, it's not nourishing me. It's not meeting my needs. And that is an indication that what you're eating is lack of nutrients. So you're filling your belly, yes, but you're not meeting the needs of your body. And so this is foundational. This is filled with superfoods that we don't get in our food plant life today. It's like eating 6 superfood meals, 6 salads in one drink. And what I love about it, when you get it and you smell it and you look at it, it looks like food because it is. So it's all hand done in our manufacturing building. And that means that everything is wind dried. And then it's just by hand, they grind it up into a really delicate powder. And so when you add back the water, it's going to bring back that plant life back to life. And all of the nutrients are still there because it hasn't been heated or cooled or had any kind of preservatives added to it. So if you smell it, it smells like food. And I actually had a client say to me the other day, oh my gosh, it tastes like Fruity Pebbles. And I thought that was hilarious, but she was really into cereal. And so that was really important, was the taste. And I mean, most of us, it's important, the taste, right? But it is a sweet flavor if you get our appleberry flavor, which is just sweetened with berries extract. So it's really delicious. It's meeting those phyto and micronutrient needs, as well as like healthy fats and great superfoods. And then the third thing, which I love, is, and kind of what we're foundationally known for, is this glyphosate remover. And it's a proprietary herb blend. It has fulvic and humic acid in it, but it's called Biomedic. And it's clinically proven in the first 30 days to remove up to 75% of glyphosate from your system. So how does it do that? And how can you measure that? Well, when we eat glyphosate, which all of us have because it's been sprayed since 1980. So you probably have had it in your system since you were a baby or young, if you're my age, I guess. And what happens when it's mixed with other substances in the body, like synthetic oils or gluten or anything like that, is it creates what's called a mucoid plaque. And it's kind of a black tar-like substance that sticks to your small and large intestine, and it obstructs your microvilli from being able to uptake all of the nutrients that you are eating. And so we have to get rid of that. And actually, many of us, which I know I had this, are holding pounds of this sludge in our belly wall. And so we have to get that out. This is what this is doing is it's creating brain fog. It's obstructing us from getting our nutrients, right? It's also making us feel tired and sluggish. Like, have you ever felt like you're on the couch and you're just like, I cannot get up? You feel like you have no pep in your step and you're just not excited to wake up in the morning. And that's kind of that mucoid plaque is keeping you kind of stuck essentially. And so what this does is it starts to peel that away. And so I know it's gross, but you know it's working when you eliminate this black tarry substance out. And that's what happens. And that is how you can measure feeling lighter and happier, and seeing your stomach kind of shrink down will be those measuring factors. And then the apothecary is super important because it is a healthy sleep support, and sleep is a huge issue for most people. So put a 3 in the chat if you were like, I need to sleep better. Like maybe you sleep, but you wake up a lot, or maybe you don't sleep restfully, or maybe you're sleeping for 8 hours, but you're not feeling like you even slept at all. And so that's an indication your body's whispering at you that you need support, that your gut is not whole. And so your gut actually produces 80% of your hormones, one of them being melatonin. And melatonin is probably very well known on this call. It's kind of it's like a buzzword, right? Take melatonin to sleep. Well, here's the issue with melatonin, and same thing goes for like collagen. When you take it, you don't make it. And so we want to encourage our system, our bodies, to properly work and make what we need within us. So when you take melatonin, that's synthetic melatonin, your body will stop making it on your own, and you will become reliant on a synthetic melatonin. And it doesn't really work too amazing, right? I've tried it. My kids have tried it. And your body gets used to it. And so why are cherries so amazing for this? Well, this is just a cherry juice. It's a concentrate, which means that we've taken out the water content. And these cherries are grown in regenerative farms. So they're nutrient dense. They're as they should be. And when you drink one serving, it's like drinking 30 cherries. And cherries are well known to help your gut create melatonin. And so it just encourages your gut to create the hormone that we need in order to fall asleep restfully, stay asleep, and get into that like deep REM sleep while we're asleep so that we can get into healing rest. So we should really be sleeping between 10 and 4 so that we can get into cellular regeneration overnight, so that we can keep that detoxification going every night and into the morning. All right. So we have a couple of packages, and why I love these is because you get a cost break. And if you are here, the person that brought you here has a discount code for you of 25% when you order a pack. And a pack is great because it really sets you up for success. So I've tried a bunch of different detoxes and cleanses, and they were nasty. And I'm talking gross. Like I could barely make it through, or you couldn't eat, or you had to drink this weird substance and you were racing to the bathroom, and it just was not good. And so I'm sure you guys are probably all laughing on the other end. I can't see your faces right now. I hope you're laughing because it's true though. I mean, if you know, you've done it and you're like, no, I don't want to do a cleanse again. Well, what I love about this cleanse is it's gentle. It's kind to your body and it's easy to add in. And what we focus on is addition. So this right here, this ultimate lifestyle transformation is our parasite cleanse. And we're going to flood the body with nourishment and just gently cleanse from glyphosate and parasites. When you have a high parasite load, you typically have a low immune function and a high viral load. So you may be susceptible to getting sick easier. You might come down with colds throughout the year, and it's super frustrating and annoying. And you might be dealing with a lot of other issues in your tissues that you are annoyed with. Well, sometimes it really has to do, well, a lot of the times it has to do with you have a high parasite load and a low ATP. And so ATP is adenosine triphosphate, which in layman's terms is just cellular energy. We have to increase your cellular energy and decrease those pathogens and parasites. And parasites are just organisms that eat off of dead organisms. So as you increase your plant life intake, those will naturally die off. And this is just an herb protocol to kind of hit them and get them out gently. So I explained all of the things that you would be taking, and that the parasite cleanse that I just went over is our super cleanser. And this will be taken for 10 days right in the middle. So you'll kind of ease in, you'll cleanse out for 10 days, and then you'll ease out of that cleanse. Super simple, easy to add it in. You're just going to shift things in and kind of allow things to kind of no longer be a part of your system and your daily routine, if you will. And we're going to focus on as many alkaline plants as possible within your daily life. And then the other one that I really recommend for anyone who wants to continue to be active is our ULT, or our Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation, plus our performance products. So I work with many athletes and they want to clean their house. So think of it like, if half of your house has burnt down, do you think you would just start to build up on top of all of that burnt wood? Well, no. So what you would do is you would clean that side of the house, right? And then you would start to build it back up. And so we got to clean, which is that cleansing part, that ULT. However, when you have a high performance that you want to keep up with, like a fitness routine, maybe weightlifting, or maybe you're an athlete where you run marathons, or a swimmer, or whatever your fitness routine looks like, we want to have you support your system with things that are not going to deplete you, but rather really support you in a clean manner. So we have things like the Can't Beat This and the Super Xanthan and Cocoa Hydrate and Aloe Digest to really support your glands and your organs during your workout, pre and post and during. So you would take the Can't Beat This prior to a workout, which has caffeic acid in it, which is a natural plant caffeine without the jitters. It's incredible. I'm personally love it so much. I work out almost daily. And then the super xanthan is that you can take one before a workout, a hard workout, and one after. But this is an herb protocol that helps with lactic acid. Fun bonus with super xanthan is it actually helps as an internal sunscreen. It actually helps your body from burning in the sun. And it also is a great addition for eye health. So that's just a bonus. But Cocoa Hydrate as well as Aloe Digest are awesome to replenish electrolytes in your body. And a lot of athletes will take things like Gatorade, which actually depletes your body of electrolytes. So we're going to add that back in. And then the MVP Sport is that healthy and clean plant-based protein powder, which is fundamental for after a really hard workout. So you can add that back in. So those two packages are probably our most popular that people love to add into their life and feel incredible adding those into their daily routines. And then we have a couple of other things. We have kid offerings, and this is super important to raise healthy kids in a toxic environment that we're in. And so the Kids Shake has our 4 main products in it already. So you're getting the phyto and micronutrients, that healthy super amino support, so that plant protein. You're also getting biomedic, and that cherry juice is already in here. And this is also a pre and probiotic that is healthy, and it's not going to monoculture their little gut. And so my kids take this. It's incredible for all kids after the age of 18 months. If they're before 18 months, they can have the Power Shake about, when they're ready to eat up until 18 months and beyond, they can have the Power Shake. But the Kids in Focus, the Kids Immune Shield are great herbal tinctures. Obviously, the Immune Shield is for immune function, but the Kids in Focus is great for adrenal health. And it also helps just calm that nervous system right on down. So if you have kids that have a hard time paying attention, or just fidget a lot, or just have a hard time calming down, the Kids in Focus is amazing. I personally take it myself. I give it to my kids, sometimes daily, if they're wanting it. My daughter actually asks for her herbs now. She's like, Mom, I need to take my herbs. And she loves them, and she's 6. And then our Daily Core 4, I just wanted to note this is kind of what we would call our maintenance. So usually with my clients, I start people on a pack, get their body ready. So like if somebody's wanting to get pregnant, I typically recommend, 2-3 months of a larger protocol, clean out the system, and then go on to maintenance, which is what we would call our Daily Core 4. So the kind of that foundational health moving forward to really support their bodies. And then in addition to this, when you join our community, we have some extra added support. So we have an app that was designed by regenerative detox specialists to support your journey. And we have education, we have like acidity versus alkaline charts, so you can study what foods are best to eat. We have 2 customer support calls weekly, Mondays and Wednesdays. We also offer a free weekly Wellness Wednesday call that talks about like thyroid health and how you can support yourself in that, and talking about eye health and, skin support. And so we offer those calls weekly. And then we also have Facebook pages, depending on who enrolled you, to join. And so you can kind of encourage other people and see that you are not alone. Many, many, many of us are seeking after optimal health and want to feel amazing in our bodies and get rid of all of the ailments we've been dealing with. So you're not alone in this journey, and we're excited to touch base with you. And now I want to turn it over to a Q&A. And I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen. And if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat if you can't come off mute, or want to show your face right now. I understand, it's hard some people are driving. So if you have a question, you can put it right in the chat. Otherwise, you can come off mute or raise your hand in the reaction. There's a reaction button on the Zoom where you can raise your hand. And I can, if you'd like to ask me questions or let me know kind of what your ailments are that you're dealing with, I can make recommendations for you. And now I'm going to take a deep breath because I've been talking a lot. Okay. I am going to just look in the chat. Let's see. Rebecca really likes Kids in Focus. Iceland. Okay. My 11-year-old is loving the scoop of Power Shake in her fruit smoothie. Great. Awesome. Okay. Hi, Banda. You can come off mute. Hello.
Okay. So my daughter is 15 and she's been diagnosed with severe food allergies and environmental allergies since she was 2 years old. Okay. So I like the products for myself. And then when I hear about the products for the kids, I would very much so got interested. However, I'm very icky about the ingredients that is in different things because of the allergies.
Sure.
So I'm liking how the product is grown.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely liking that because we definitely do a lot of organic stuff. However, I know that in some of the products on the market, there's a lot of fish oils, different things like that in different products. And that's a concern with certain things that I know I would want her to stay away from. So what do you think or recommend for that?
So you won't have any fish oil in any of our products. So you're safe there.
Great. That's awesome. So what about like whey protein?
No,
Would that
never
be in there? Okay.
No. Everything is all plant-based. So no.
All plant-based. Awesome. Okay. That's pretty much was my biggest thing here tonight.
Okay, great. Yeah. And also allergies are deep gut injury, and she can heal her gut. And we have to be careful. I'm not a doctor. I can't say heal. She can reverse allergies if she gets her body into the right alignment. And if that is, her goal. And so she could actually potentially have foods, after her body is healed and that gut lining has healed up, she can try certain things again, of course, with supervision of you being around. But we have seen this many, many, many times over and over again, of just people who have had allergies and then could have things after they have been on our protocols. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks. Is that the best for nausea during pregnancy, or what is? Okay. Oh, I think I missed another one. Oh, okay. So Dieter was just saying, yes, everything is 100% organic, kosher, non-GMO, gluten-free. So Nicole, is asking, what is the best protocol for nausea during pregnancy? So it depends on, what they can stomach. But I typically do recommend the daily core for pregnancy. And so when you think of like an acid-based system, acid is what is creating a lot of the issues during pregnancy and even prior to that. So if they're already have been dealing with a leaky gut, if you think of like what they're eating is permeating out. And so we have to get in there and just kind of start to gently start to nourish their glands and their organs. Now, I would personally, like if I was pregnant right now dealing with nausea, I would eat as many plants as possible, alkaline foods, fruits, whatever they can stomach. So, watermelon juice is awesome. Limes, anything, ginger is really great. So they can add some ginger into some things. That's a really awesome, one for nausea. But I would just start to move from an acid-based diet into an alkaline diet. And you could start gently with the daily core four, or moving into a cleanse, and then just skipping the super cleanser, which is that parasite cleanse, and giving that to a partner during that time. But flooding the body with nutrients is going to be best for baby and mama, and to get out of that acidic based environment. Hi, Ashley. Ashley is saying, my son is autistic. He's nonverbal and he is a very picky eater. Trying to see which pack would be best fit him because he doesn't eat any vegetables or fruits. And could I put this in his milk or juice? Ashley, can you tell me how old he is? So I would, also my diet is good. I'm always a tired mama and don't have any energy. Okay. Myself, he's 8. Oh, he's 8. Okay, so he can take the kids shake. Texture wise, you'll have to play with it. You know, blend some ice, blend some organic banana in there. If it's a texture thing for him, you know, I mean, my kids have actually eaten this like just dry and then just mix it with water in their mouth. So it, you know, just depends on kind of like where he's at with it. That would be my, you know, a best case is the kid shake, but you could even just start with the kids in focus and just start to do a little tinctures. I mean, you can just shoot it right in his mouth. He'll take it. It tastes good. It tastes sweet. And yeah, and then Katie's saying the Fulvic Z lights as well would be incredible. So those two are tinctures, so you can just squirt it in his mouth. So hopefully he'll be able to swallow that, and that will help to his nervous system, his adrenal glands, his neurotransmitters. And I think this is really will help him. We've seen kids really transform. So any way you can get it in his body is going to be incredible for him and for you. And then Ashley, for yourself, depending on where your level of tiredness lies, typically fatigue is coming from adrenal weakness and low cellular energy and a high parasite load. And so if you're eating an acid-based diet or coming from a standard American diet, I would start with our transformation. Just start to gently add in alkaline foods in addition, and just watch your body go from tired and exhausted to like feeling better, and then to like feeling like, wow, I have a lot more energy. And by the end of the 30 days, you're going to see your adrenal glands start to kind of fire again, where you are like, oh, I haven't like had coffee and I don't need it anymore. And I don't need those stimulants. And you're going to start to feel that cellular energy in your system that you have probably not felt maybe ever. Because for the first time ever, I feel like I don't need stimulants and I wake up out of my bed like ready to go and I'm excited for life. And I was like depressed and anxious before and had a hard time getting off my couch, and it was hard, you know, life is hard. But
So this
doesn't
helps
have to be
really good with anxiety.
Yeah, sorry, who's talking?
This is Wanda.
Oh, hi Vonda. Yes. Oh my goodness. Absolutely. I was, Deetra can attest, she's on this call. I was kind of a ball, an anxious, depressed, flustered person prior. And what's weird is that if you knew me, that's really not my heart. Does that make sense? So like
Yes.
me as a person, I'm not an anxious person.
Right.
I never had ever like dealt with anxiety as a child, and I just come from, you know, I wear rose-colored glasses, like I'm always like super positive, but I was dealing with something that was like outside of me. And that came from an over toxicity in my body. That glyphosate in your system is going to obstruct things in your body. And your gut health has a direct response to your brain health. It's called the HPA axis. But basically your gut makes all of those hormones that talk to your brain to tell you, like, let's be happy again. And so most of the time, it's not a chemical imbalance. It's the gut that's unbalanced. It's not the brain. And so whenever
So
somebody
this
says,
is more or less, so more or less, we can see this as a DNA strand. If this is something that the kid is born into throughout their generational family. So if
yes,
like, my dad is 85 and I call pops and ask pops stuff like, hey dad, like I'm feeling full, like it feels like the food is just sitting right here at the top of my stomach. And what do you do for that? I know that you told me, that you deal with digestion and stuff like that. So he'll give me his take on it. But I noticed that it is something running within the family because my 15-year-old is dealing with that. So I want to try to get her ironed out while it's still early.
absolutely. And remember, genetics can load the gun, but diet will
Mhm.
pull the trigger.
Right.
And
Okay.
so genetics does not mean it has to be a part of your story. So my mom is pre-diabetic and she wears a CPAP machine and is dealing with, she's overweight, and I didn't want to end up in the same disposition, but I dealt with very similar things leading up to that. We both had an autoimmune that was a skin condition. We both dealt with, weight gain, and we both dealt with, I was gestational diabetes. She's pre-diabetic, and so there was some of these things that were very similar, but I've completely reversed all of that. And I don't need to go down that road because of what I'm putting internally in my body. So you can absolutely reverse this, and she can change the trajectory of her generations to come. So the health of her body before she has children is super, super important, because the health at conception for children will set them up to win. So if she has a healthy body prior to that, she can completely change the genetic markers for your future grandchildren. All right. Ashley, let's see. Sorry. Mazi, yes, my daughter has chronically been constipated, and once we add in the kids shake, that went away. Okay, yes. So any kind of constipation, the kids shake can help. Yes, once he is having regular bowel movements, the fulvic zeolite will gently pull out heavy metals, which is common in children with a diagnosis of autism. Thank you, Katie. Awesome. Great. Is there any other questions while you have us? I see a couple of new people I don't recognize here that maybe haven't asked any questions. And again, you can use the chat or you can raise your hand. Candace, do you want me to read this out loud that you sent to me? Okay. Candace said, is there a detailed process to determine which protocol is best based on the individual needs? And what are the recommendations based on? Yes. So I have been through some training, the Institute of Regenerative Health, and I have just learned through that training and also past clients on what to really tell people to start with. So certain things that people are going through, like let's say lupus, for instance, we would want to avoid grains. And so we have a grain-free pack transformation that we would recommend for someone who wants to reverse lupus. And that is just over time learning from past experiences and in my training. But we train people here. So all of the people who join our community to become coaches or wellness professionals here through us will get this training as well when you join our team. So Yeah, and the recommendations too. I mean, I use Katie's recommendations too. She's a holistic nurse, and so she knows a lot of things that I don't. And so we bounce things off of each other collectively as a team. And it's a fabulous way to do business. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. Awesome. Anybody else have any questions? Thank you so much for joining. If you have the person that invited you here, reach back out with them. They have that discount code for you and can get you ordered. If you're still listening and you would like to order tonight, you can go on to ultpack.com. That is our landing page to order our transformation. And then your person who brought you here will share a code with you and you can put it in there. Awesome. Thanks for joining. Thank you guys. Appreciate you guys. Good night.
Thanks, Jane.
You're welcome.